though we don't usually recommend single stocks per se, I know that we have some favorites within the index. Could you tell us maybe more about those companies and what puts them on top of your list?
I would mention 5 companies: Nvidia, Amazon, Tesla, Thermo Fisher, and Netflix. Maybe I'll start with Nvidia. Nvidia is essentially an accelerated computing company for high performance computing and artificial intelligence applications. It manufactures computer chips and it develops related software stacks. That's really important because a lot of the chip makers don't produce any associated software, and Nvidia is really leading in that area as well. And they are first and foremost the market leader in the design of graphics processing units, GPUs, which facilitate applications such as deep learning, which is so essential in AI these days. And Nvidia is a company that scores very highly in terms of our Singularity score. It has a score of 98%. Basically, their chips and software stacks power everything from AI to robotics, from virtual reality to the Internet of Things, and also from blockchain to big data. So since the launch of our Singularity Index, Nvidia is one of the highest scoring companies overall. It has exposure to 5 of our Singularity sectors, as mentioned, and we think it is poised to benefit from several tech revolutions at the same time. And in a recent call that we had with the company, that it really confirmed our understanding of the firm, but it also showed the flexibility and the unique ability of this company to capture these really value-adding areas of these technologies. So NVIDIA is a great company that we like for the long term.
People tend to forget that also tech companies, if they don't move to the next phase and the next relevant key focus areas, we call it, of their technology, if they don't stay on top of it, they will miss out and they will have part of their business model being commoditized and becoming an old economy business. This is the classic Nokia situation, that they moved into mobile phones, but missed out on moving to the next phase and what was really happening in the tech world there. And with that, it stands to continue to be in the highest growth area and the most profitable areas as well of all these technologies and their developments. So that's why it's the one company that I've separately from the fund doubled down on.
The second one I mentioned is Amazon, which is by and large a retail category killer. And the Amazonification, as we call it, we even have a word for this these days, is really well underway in the economy. Nearly every segment that Amazon has entered into, it has dominated. So I think that's very remarkable. And their cloud business, which is called AWS, is growing significantly, and we think it will remain on an exponential trajectory as more and more businesses really move to a SaaS model, and that is also catalyzed by the current recession and the thriving of online business in general. Also, AI is ingrained in its business model, and that is exemplified, for example, by a service that they have called Amazon Personalize, which is really an AI-powered recommendation service that is now available to the public. The third company is Tesla, which is, as most people would see it, a manufacturer and seller of high-performance electric vehicles. But it's certainly not only that. It produces energy storage systems and solar panel. Now, I would say that Tesla is definitely not a typical firm because its CEO and founder, Elon Musk, is not your typical entrepreneur. I would say Musk is more akin to a value chain architect whose aim is to build a sustainable energy future at the end of the day, starting with electric vehicles. And being a value chain architect, he's built multiple companies, including Hyperloop, the Boring Company, Solar City, or SpaceX. And so he is really on a mission to fundamentally transform the way transportation works, and also the way transportation is powered by electricity. And more generally, he is dedicated to the transformation of the global use of energy, which is the broader topic here. And so we see Tesla as a new energy company rather than an automobiles player. And comparing it with other automobiles player, I think is really too short-sighted. So even though Tesla has had a pretty nice runway, we think there's a lot more value to be unlocked there. The last name I will comment on is Thermo Fisher. That is a company that produces scientific instruments, but also software and services for pharma and biotech companies and for research labs. This company is a really great example of the application of bioinformatics, which brings together the analysis of swaths of biological data with computer science and big data capabilities. Thermo Fisher's products and services are really instrumental in building new drugs or developing new drugs and vaccines, which is also very timely in the current war against the coronavirus. So they essentially power the research behind a lot of these companies that are involved in developing drugs and vaccines. They also have a so-called next generation sequencing solution business, which is dedicated to cancer research and other disease research. So very, very excited about that as well. And another area that is very interesting is the area of human genome sequencing. And Thermo Fisher provides their essential genomic solutions to assist decision making in scientific research. So that is also a really great company.
Could we say that at least 3 of the titles that you just mentioned are also actual solutions or possible solution providers for the current situation that we're now facing?
Absolutely. I mean, Thermo Fisher, like I mentioned, they are powering sort of the development of vaccines and drugs. This is what we are all focused on right now. When will the vaccine for COVID-19 be discovered? This is a company that is very instrumental in solving this equation. And also, I think in general, this crisis has accelerated the transition to perhaps a more sustainable future. So Tesla is really a key player for us in this area, and they are definitely providing a well-rounded solution to the sustainability issue, because at the end of the day, they are involved in power production, in sort of the usage of it and the consumption of it. So they're really they really concern themselves with the circularity of the energy cycle. And yeah, all of the names that I mentioned offer solutions. Amazon, I think everybody at home, working from home and being quarantined and confined to their 4 walls, has been ordering online, or has been ordering everything online, right? And Amazon is really one of the go-to places. And as I said, they're like a category killer. Like nowadays, we go to Amazon for nearly everything. So these companies all provide solutions to the current crisis.